A comment I get very often is, how can you talk about art when your art is bad? And this is not a video where I try to defend myself, because there are a lot of flaws in my work, and I do lack a lot of knowledge on the art fundamentals and storytelling and design. But before I answer that question, I would like to expand a bit about being a bad artist, because I imagine most of us feel insecure about what we make. When you are bad at art, it kinda sucks. Maybe you look at the art of a lot of great artists and you get inspired and you try to do something and you just can't pull it off. So you try and fail and you try and fail, and often it seems like you're getting nowhere. It's a long and harsh process. But all these artists you look up to, they are not gods who are granted divine gifts. They are not even half-gods. They are human beings, and as it happens, you are one too. What that means is, anything that they have learned, you can learn to do yourself. But what that takes is being able to work as hard as they did and study as well as they did. And that's a lot of failed drawings and paintings. One of the most shocking things for me has been meeting professional artists who I look up to, and I love their work, and talking to them I find out they hate what they're doing. They see flaws everywhere, which is fine, but they feel terrible about it. Some people even say things like, anyone who likes my art is an idiot, which is a bit harsh. In my videos I joke around a lot about being bad at drawing, or bad drawings I make, and that's because I don't approach things in most videos very seriously. In real life, I don't want to be that kind of person. Generally, my approach to drawing has been trying my best, while not holding things personally dear to me. Because early on there were times when I was giving critique and it really hurt, but it was also helpful, and over time your skin grows thicker. But of course it still happens, sometimes unexpectedly, because we're human, and often attachments and emotions are natural, until we decide we don't want them anymore. The goal is not to turn into some shell of a being who doesn't feel emotions. It's also not to be too emotional, always say positive things. Like, hey, nothing is wrong, everything is fine, everything I make is amazing, because that is just as damaging. Being too positive can also mean that you're afraid of being afraid, and you're stuck in a comfort zone. To me, it's about seeing flaws, but also recognizing, yeah, you're not going to make anything perfect, but you're going to do your damn best. I think you need both negativity and positivity to improve, but in the right places. It can be easy to feel like your art is bad and feel terrible about it, but why not use that to think for a bit and go, well, now I know what I can do better next time. It's easy to see fear as a big monster. Like, let's say you're afraid of water, and you want to learn how to swim. Then for a while, just forget about swimming. Start with putting yourself in the water. And maybe next time, try having your head underwater. Take things in steps where you break down the bigger thing. The same can be applied to drawing or painting or really anything. Take things in steps. When it comes to art advice, some really good and thought out advice has come from artists whose work I don't personally enjoy, or who I've seen as lacking certain skills. And some really talented artists have given terrible advice. But this is the exception to the rule. Generally, good artists give good advice. If an artist gives art advice or critique, but you don't think their art is good, then frankly you have full credit to be suspicious about what they are saying, including me. It doesn't mean that what they are saying is necessarily wrong, because at the core the art fundamentals will remain the same. But it can be something as simple as, this person has different views on art than me, and they have different goals. At the core, art advice just means people relaying their experiences with art, and you're going to want to listen to a lot of different people with a lot of different perspectives, but you are probably going to be the most at home with people who have similar tastes and goals. For a lot of people, it can also be confusing to find the difference between objective advice and subjective advice. With objective advice, you have things that are directly linked to the fundamentals of drawing and painting, but it shouldn't be confused with subjective advice, which is when we are strictly talking about style and appeal. Of course, a lot of people are just inexperienced, and a lot of art advice and critique is not valid, but you are the judge of your own education. And these are all not absolute rules to get to where you want, they are just stepping stones for different people. So, again, this is not a plea for compliments or pity, but my thoughts. And if the question is, who are you to talk about art when your art is bad? Then the answer is, you're going to have to put yourself in a lot of positions where you can fail. It doesn't mean just saying, well, I failed, this turned out bad, time to move on. It means that if there is no risk of failure, if something is safe, then you have to ask yourself, what am I really gaining from this? I have many ideas for things I want to do in the future, but I'm working on my way there. And I think to make something good, you don't just daydream about the future. You do the best with what you have right now.